Welcome to the Teachers Lounge. I'm Ben Heckathorn, Teach, Lead, Inspire. I work with schools every day, and this podcast is a place teachers and leaders can edu-chat, grow your understanding of topics, hear stories, get motivated, and contribute to the discussion. The purpose of the Teachers Lounge is to encourage education professionals across Australia to teach well, lead well, and inspire. To really hone in on conversations we generally don't have the time to kick around, but should, to get clarity or even formulate your thoughts. So find our Facebook group, The Teachers Lounge, Teach, Lead, Inspire. Let's go! Hey, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. I'm big on self-reflections and already one episode in, probably going to take out the pre-recorded intro and just do it each time. Review and refine. That's what we do. That said, bear with my ums, ahs, I suppose, and the old classic, Please stick around for the whole episode as well. As I said, we are going to ride out some shorter ones first, consolidate topics and guests while we grow. I'll probably keep mentioning this, but through the podcast, visualize just chilling in the staff room, chatting. Someone's brought up an interesting topic that you've got a full 30 minutes to flesh out. So in today's episode, we are looking at 5 qualities of an excellent teacher, of an excellent leader, excellent assistant, anyone in the edu space. I posted on a particular teacher group, one that I'm not banned from, and I think there was 800 responses, which is fantastic. And what I did was I listed 12 qualities of an excellent teacher, and the votes just started to roll in. So some of the qualities I put up there were patience, creativity, adaptability, being collaborative, empathy, time management, classroom management, a passion for teaching, which is kind of important, communication skills, high expectations, being organized, being humorous, relational, and a lifelong learner. So I listed those 12. I think there was a few more than 12 because a few added their own ones in. So what's happened is that the votes have been counted. The polling is great because it does it for you, gives you a percentage of that, how many voted for what in that 800. And so I've got a top 5. And it made me think that there's probably top 5 anti-qualities as well, like a teacher kryptonite. That can, stop them from being effective. I might do that next. It'd be quite interesting. But I quickly found there was a disparity between quality and skills. So looking at the list, these qualities, and I think technically they are things we may or may not innately do, like they're inbuilt to us. They're our qualities. They're part of our nature, how we were born. For example, some people are naturally empathetic or organized. You see someone and you go, oh, aren't they just such an organized person? Or wow, they're just beaming with empathy. But then I'm like, well, these qualities are also like skills as such, like time management. We can learn that and get good at that skill, but may not be an organic quality. So I just want you to catch that tension between quality and skill as we go over the top 5 voted qualities. And yes, we're referring to them as qualities specifically. So we're going to jump in and I'm going to go from 5 to 1. And I would love to see or hear, I don't know how, perhaps in the Teachers Lounge, Teach, Lead, Inspire Facebook group. You could follow me on LinkedIn, Ben Heckathorn, MBA, and share some of your thoughts in that space as well. So let's do it. Enter cool sound here. And I've got no tech guy at the moment running the podcast, so it is personal sound effects. Anyway, number 5 that we come up with on that great list we have is the lifelong learner. And the question I'm going to ask after everyone is, what makes this a quality and how can you step into or grow in this? So being a lifelong learner was number 5 ranked out of those 12. Let's unpack that a bit. Staying current is an idea of being a lifelong learner. So educators have this unspoken mandate to continuously stay updated on and learn new teaching methods, educational trends, subject matter expertise, staying up to date and learning in that space. last episode, we introduced someone called Margaret. She graduated in the 1980s. Sorry for any Margarets out there. But Margaret's kind of stuck in her ways. She's learned all she needs to learn from university and is not willing to figure out what AI is and use iPads instead of the etch pads with stone and chisels. But for example, AI is a biggie right now, staying current, which could potentially be getting fuel for another podcast in that one. So staying current and being a lifelong learner in education trends and subject matter expertise is a quality of an effective teacher. And inside that as well, we have the idea of modeling learning. Now, it's to quote one of our prime ministers, a fair shake of the sauce bottle. If we expect our students to be learning and reading, that teachers are also modeling this lifelong learning as it models the value of education and curiosity for students. For me, students are always encouraged, a mix between year 12s and year 3s. When I'm stepping into those classes, they're always encouraged about hearing about my own studies and own wrestles with assignments being due. Even the trainee teacher group that I run, every week we meet while I'm studying my second postgrad. It keeps me relevant. It keeps me learning methods, these new online like Moodle and Canvas, and only good can come from that. And studying is shifting as well. Poor old Margaret, she was probably doing face-to-faces and who knows what. But now it's heavy online. It is a lot of DIY self-paced and downloading PDFs and uploading PDFs. My next assignment is due in a couple of weeks, and that's all about recording a video. And so I've got to go through Zoom and upload a PowerPoint and speak through the PowerPoint, record it, download it, and then upload it with show notes and everything as well. So again, I'm thinking about poor old Margaret. How is she going to do that if she's not got that deep thinking or a deep passion as a lifelong learner? She's just going to miss out in that space and not be influential to her students, her peers, and her leaders if she's a closed book. Now, obviously, expectations in your role as a teacher or leader for ongoing professional development, that is a mindset of being a lifelong learner as well. Improving teaching practices and student outcomes, they are the benefits of professional development and life and learning. There's like 100 or so hours of PD that teachers need to do to keep their registrations. So shifting the posts of what formal and informal is, as far as these mandated PD goes. For example, like 5 of the Teacher Lounge podcasts could be an hour of professional development. So you're learning X, Y, and Z. I might even start banging in some of the AITSL standards about what's discussed in here, and you can extract those easily. But professional development, modeling learning, as in formal education for yourself, running through assessments, and also staying current, reading blogs, podcasts, personal investigations into AI. Being a lifelong learner is a quality that makes you an exceptional and excellent teacher. It contributes to that. So the votes are in. An effective teacher and leader is a lifelong learner. So my question and challenge is, how are you doing this? Don't be a Margaret. No, I understand seasons. Some people have more capacity to study than others. Others are maxed out with 5 kids doing X, Y, and Z outside of school or in the swim squad or whatever, and it's impossible to do it. But the best advice I've got, it's never a good time to do studies. You just got to kind of readjust priorities and fit it in. Number 4. This was an interesting one, and I wouldn't have picked it, but the concept, number 4, of having high expectations was voted 4th highest out of 12 out of 800 votes. So what makes this a quality, and how can we step into and grow in having high expectations? And it could go a few different directions. High expectations of students, high expectations of yourself, or high expectations of your leaders as well, and leaders' expectations of you. So there's a lot of intermixing ideas here, but just in general, let's just focus on having high expectations for students. And we're just going to kind of cap it at that. So one thing that kind of stands out to me with high expectations is the idea that when you have this, you are encouraging excellence. Now, I don't want to use the word excellence quite flippantly. There's quite a bit of controversy in that. But again, just taking it at face value of what is excellent, we are encouraging that. So I think setting high expectations, so in your class with your students, can motivate students to strive for their best, which as a result leads to higher academic achievement. So that's academics, excellent behavior as well. It branches out into a few different aspects. So enter that, whatever that is. So in saying that, I've experimented with this, if we set the bar low, the students are going to meet that. They will just rise to where's the minimum, Mr. Heckathorn? And that's it. And if we set the bar high with those high expectations, they might get there. And sometimes they will definitely get there, but they'll do better than the low if you set the bar low. And we've seen this proof with, and hopefully you do this in your teaching practice, is handing out exemplars, something to attain to. And without that bar, it's like, guys, this is an A piece of material. They've got paragraphs or use these openers for their sentences. They've got meaning, they've got title, etc., etc. This is the exemplar. Show me what you can do. And then we offer that support. And I'll talk about that later. Someone in the Facebook group did mention that, we can't really, having high expectations needs to match up with support as well. And I will get to that. It's called the support challenge matrix. But just moving on and kind of bolting onto this encouraging excellence, it's clear communication of expectations. So students are not going to know what the excellent bit is, or those high expectations, without having that communicated, i.e. with the exemplar that we talked about. Clearly communicating expectations, behaviorally or for work or respect in the classroom, so students understand what is required of them. I've seen a lot of classrooms use like an A1 size display of classroom expectations or rules or whatever you want to call that space, a class sign, basically. My wife does it every year. In 5-6 this year, she has done that, and it's been valuable. It's clear, it's visible. They come up with these statements together, and basically it's a reference point. And so if someone is kind of breaking that boundary or classroom trust or high expectation, we can refer back to that agreement or that contract and redirect that thinking that misbehavior that they're doing. So, and I'm going to just follow up the excellence bit. The high expectations, they cannot be separate from support and resources. It helps students meet and even exceed expectations. So the follow-up here is support. So someone in the group commented about the high expectations and support and them going together. And what we have just in some leadership work that I've done, there's a tool which is called the support challenge matrix. And basically what it is if you give challenge without the support, students just in general and at large will likely fail or get frustrated. They go hand in hand. And likewise, if you are handing out way too much support without any challenges, they're meeting that low expectation. So they're just being supported or nurtured. Oh, it's okay. Just try your best. No, it's like we're going to aim for this, and this is how we're going to support you if you need extra help, etc., etc., etc. So that goes in for leadership as well. So if you have staff that just lots of support, they're not going to rise up or take initiative because there's nothing clear for them to really aim for. They just know that I'll just do my job and great. And likewise, if there's challenge, I'd love you to run this, do that. And then you take a whole step back and go, oh, where's the support? Where's the time taken out of my class to do that? How's that being replaced? I can't do this anymore. So support and challenge go hand in hand. And that links to, having high expectations of the kids. So the votes are in. An effective teacher and leader holds high expectations. And my challenge there is, do you? And how do we do that is potentially another podcast episode in and of itself. There we go. So number 3 is a huge one, actually, and again could be a whole episode or series on its own for sure. So I'm gonna tell you what number 3 is. The third most voted value or quality of an excellent teacher is having classroom management. So that already I can see your mind going, wow, this, and that. It's a big one. So I'm just going to focus on a couple of points inside of classroom management, and we'll kind of leave it and move on. But we look at structure. Effective classroom management has established and clear routines, procedures, and systems that create I'm going to call it a safe learning environment, which leads to a productive learning environment. In the mentor group I run for the trainees, we do what's called a noticing and wondering activity. So they have the meeting, then they go back with their mentor teachers and unpack a question. And the last couple of weeks have been looking at a question about the link between organized classrooms. You walk in and books are where they're meant to be. There's a clear system in place, and behavior. So is there a link between very disorganized classrooms and clutter to student misbehaviors or lack of focus and attention? Which leads into the next idea under classroom management, which is about maintaining focus. So how does a teacher manage distractions and disruptions, such as the cluttered classroom? So quick spoiler for anyone out there is a direct link to messy and disorganized classrooms to behaviors and focus. So shout out to for everyone to tidy up their classrooms, yeah. But also managing efficient instructional time. So we're looking at focus here for a classroom management strategy. Now, think about your own classroom. Are the students sitting for 30 minutes while you, gas bag about photosynthesis or whatever it is? Or are you, going into your own stories and they're sitting on the ground, particularly for junior or primary schools, eyes wandering, starting to touch stuff? Are those year 8s, 9s and 10s rolling their eyes? Think about that, that instructional time for focus. So general rule is age to instructions. So if someone's 6 years old, just do 6 minutes on the floor, instructions, and then go do stuff. That's what they want to do. Their minds are racing. It's not about managing attention. It's about you potentially not gas bagging and wrecking that focus, which is classroom management. Moving on. Another thing in classroom management is just this idea of promoting positive behavior, encouraging positive student behavior and respect. It does lead to more harmonious classrooms. So again, I'm linking that A1 contract display. It's such a great, simple reference point, such as, no, Ethel, we don't use that language, that's put down. Then we redirect. You need to apologize to whoever it is and use respectful language and try that again. That was not acceptable. We don't do that in this classroom. So kind of shifting and thinking of highlighting those positive behaviors, encouraging the positive behaviors and modeling, promoting positive behavior. Instead, often teachers focus on the negatives and names on the board and this, detention, this, where sometimes the kids need to see that person's being praised for simply just being the first two to stand behind their chair. So promoting positive behavior, maintaining focus and having structure in your classroom is like one of 100 different things which contribute to classroom management, which the votes are in. An effective teacher and leader has good classroom management. My question to you is, how are your classroom vibes? Is it messy? Is it clean? Is it minimal? And just have a think about that. That's number 3. Number 2, And we're getting to number 1. Again, lots and lots of votes, 800 or so. And I'm going to say the word after this question. So what makes this quality an effective quality? And how can you step into and grow in empathy? So having empathy, being empathetic was the most, or is the second most, voted quality of an effective teacher. So you may have thoughts in your mind about, what empathy is, the difference between sympathy and empathy. Again, another, there is so much fuel for unlimited podcasts. It's amazing. And hopefully we can get other people to speak into this as well that specialize in, say, well-being. But let's unpack empathy. Building trust is the first thing that pops into my head. Empathy builds trust. It helps in building strong, trusting relationships with students, and lo and behold, helps make them feel valued and understood. So this, to me, relationship building and trust, is the precursor, as in the foundation, to behavior management, authentic conversations, things like establishing a culture of joy of learning, and a point to build on to push high expectations. If you don't have a relationship with your students, how on earth can you tell them to do stuff? It just does not make sense in society. And so you get these dinosaur leaders who say, don't smile, be angry, spend the first term growling at them. It's like, no, build relationship. It's not rocket science. Relational integrity is the key to building trust, getting the best out of students, being joyous in the classroom, and that all stems from having empathy. Don't get me wrong, there is discipline and consequences for poor behavior, and there might be a few teething issues, but having a general persona of empathy is so important. And so I think you can catch the the passion there. But empathy also supports students' emotional and social needs. I always talk about my wife. She's amazing, by the way. Excellent teacher. She's studying her postgrad in counselling. So she is a lifelong learner. And distinctly there is a rise in wellbeing needs Australia-wide. No matter what school you're in, there are wellbeing needs not being met. And there is a distinct rise in teachers needing to know or be able to operate in this space. And it's so devastating to see, I'm using talking marks here, great teachers step into wellbeing roles or without qualifications. That some of the stuff these kids deal with is traumatic, and having a good teacher kind of step into these roles, I don't think cuts it anymore. There's this specialization, and this is what my wife loves and breathes and strives for, and she is putting herself out there to become one of those teachers and leaders that operate in this wellbeing space, to purposefully and intentionally have a team to operate in the space of well-being. It needs formal qualifications, and that's my 2 cents worth in that. So empathy leads to supporting well-being, which is a distinct need in this new age of teaching post-COVID. It's crazy the amount of needs that I've seen. So I'm going to leave that there and kind of move on. But empathy, it's also about promoting inclusivity. So if we think empathetic teachers, they're going to foster an inclusive classroom culture where students feel respected and included, and in brackets, safe. Now, this does tie well into high expectations and classroom management, hence the second rank in the 800 plus votes. So we think about building trust, supporting real well-being, and promoting inclusivity. So kids, if they're not feeling safe, you're not going to get the best out of them. That is the crux of that. So having empathy and building that trust with them is your step into becoming an excellent and effective teacher as well. So the votes are in. An effective teacher and leader has the ability to show empathy. So how do you respond in that empathetic space? And this is where I think empathy is a quality, but can be developed as a skill. So as you grow and mature and practice empathy, you'll get better and more natural at it. Which leads us to our numero uno, the number one, the big dog, which kind of just scraped through as number one. There wasn't a real clear distinction between 1, 2, and 3. But nonetheless, it was the most voted. And that is the number one. Bang, bang, bang. The ability to be adaptable. Adaptability is the number one, the top dog. Two things pop out to me here. One is generally responding, how do you respond to change? And the second one is more practical about meeting diverse needs. Like how do you shift your lessons to cater differentiation? So I'm going to tackle responding to change first as kind of the first idea in being adaptable. So obviously we need to quickly adapt to and accommodate new educational technologies, curriculum, keeps changing, changes, unexpected classroom challenges that pop up, timetabling, stuff just pops up in the school. I hate it. And I've got my structures and my systems and time chunks placed perfectly, and then boom, sorry, we're doing this, or leadership decision, let's shift everything you're doing to this now. But I've learned to navigate and shift. I taught with a guy, Dan, his name is, shout out, Dan Lee. Coming on many, many years ago, but one of his taglines were, come on, just be flexible. And he'd shake his arms like an octopus, highly annoying. But I still remember it to this day, and I still use it actually. Come on, be flexible. It's learning to hold things quite loosely, going with the flow, having your structures and systems in place, but when things do pop up, be flexible. Thanks, Dan. And learn to hold things closely. So excellent teachers are adaptable. They can respond to change well. And I think the attitude that you respond to change speaks volume into your leadership capacity as well. The other side is meeting diverse needs. So adaptability allows teachers to modify their approach to accommodate different learning styles, paces. We know this as differentiation. Again, could be an episode on its own, and I flag that, Ben Heckathorn. That's a good one, actually. But, the best teachers are able to shift tack or plan in advance little deviations to the lessons that bring our diverse learners on a journey, without leaving them behind. I was just down in Sydney for a teaching schools conference and symposium. Got to present there, which was fantastic. But I stayed a little bit out of the city of Sydney, and it would have taken like an hour by Uber or bus or car or whatever. Very, very heavy traffic. So I thought, hey, I'll just jump on the ferry. It was great. I loved it. Just wharf, boat picked you up, sat down, dropped you off. Perfect. Then catch like a 2-minute Uber. Much more time effective than sitting in a car. Anyway, it got me thinking of this analogy of a ferry. And in your class, you've got your lesson plan or maths, literacy, or whatever it is. And your class is on the ride with you. But you quickly pick up that there's a couple of students that are not getting the concept or misbehavior or something, or they're just not there. And so you go, we'll just drop you off at this jetty. Just can't deal right now. We'll pick you up later, if we remember. So, 1, that's not differentiation, and 2, that's not meeting the needs of a diverse group. So the idea is to try and keep everybody on the ferry for the whole trip and the return as well. So my point of that is making accommodations for students as needed is adapting, and that is a quality of an excellent teacher. So responding to change and responding to diverse needs, but also Adaptability helps teachers grow professionally and both responding to change and diverse needs, staying relevant and effective in a what we call ever-evolving educational landscape. It's challenging but doable through being adaptable. Number one voted. Adaptability, it challenges our ways, it challenges our pedagogy, it challenges our systems. And if we embrace adaptability as a quality, we'll come out the other side stronger and, quote, an effective teacher. And again, possibly adaptability could be an episode of its own. But adaptability promotes personal growth. I know I am constantly challenged. Thanks, Dan, again. Be flexible. Not fun at some stages, but I know that when I shift and challenge and push myself to deviate or go down a rabbit hole in the curriculum, it makes me better and stronger as I navigate the ups and downs that go with that. So the votes are in. An effective teacher and leader is adaptable. So my question is, how do you handle the ever-shifting goalposts of education and #school life? Well, there we have it. We are going to cap that at 5. Thank goodness we didn't do 10. We'll be here for another 30 minutes or whatever. But from the top, lifelong learner, empathy, classroom management, high expectations, and adaptability are rounding off the top 5 qualities of an effective/excellent teacher. There is so much in that. Each one of those things that were brought up could have inspired a whole new episode on its own. So hopefully you have been inspired or found something useful in the dialogue here. And again, we're on the Teacher's Lounge. So just visualize that. We've finished up. The bell's gone. Time for period 5 or home or whatever. But please continue this conversation outside of the lounge or the podcast. Bring stuff up with your colleagues. Have those edgy chats. What qualities make for an excellent teacher? I would love to hear your thoughts or comments or questions in the Facebook group, Teachers Lounge, Teach, Lead, Inspire, or find me on LinkedIn. Love to also hear from anyone there about any of these things. And of course, if you have questions or ideas that you would love nutted out, please get in contact. And we will leave it there. As always, go and do well. See you next time. There we go. Thanks for listening to this episode release of the Teachers Lounge podcast. I really do hope you've enjoyed the dialogue. The information discussed today was just that, information only. It's not specific advice. If you take action on something you've heard today, it's important to make sure that you get professional advice about your unique situation before you proceed, whether that advice be legal, financial, accounting, medical, or otherwise. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or if there is anything I can do to support your teaching or leadership journey, whether it's another topic you'd like discussed or one-to-one support. If you do know someone that would benefit from listening to this episode, please remember to tell them about it, share the episode with them, or connect us on socials. I trust you're encouraged in your role, your leadership aspirations, and your ability to serve and inspire. That's it. Go do well.